Welcome to SportingLimerick.com live commentary today from Fitzgerald Stadium, Kilmallock, for the LIT County Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship Final for 2018. Of course, it's Garryspillane and Bruff, joined by Matt O'Callaghan from the Weekly Observer and Vale Star on commentary duty today. We'll take a look at the game ahead first. I'll name the team in just a few moments. But Matt, are we expecting a good battle here today?
We are, and back 5 years ago, imagined weren't able to make that step. So this year we've had Division 1, which was the 6 top clubs, and then we had the next 6. Really an incentive for the winners here to go on, because they know now that they will be getting competitive games. For instance, Capamore were promoted at the end of 2016, and their first game as a senior club was against PIHC. Now, contrast that with what has happened to Maru Bohor. Maru Bohor won this competition last year, and they got to the quarterfinals of the senior hurling this year, and were unlucky because they lost out on the head-to-head from going into Group 1 next year. So, this thing has been the real stepping stone between intermediate hurling and senior hurling, but there is still a disparity among the clubs hurling, but that's a debate for another day. What we can deal with as we speak are coming here down on our left, and just speak of Bruff as they come out, led by Bobby O'Bruff, to win this competition in its inaugural year back here in 2014, this very ground, when they defeated Groom in the final.
Yes, I suppose looking at Bruff's journey to this day's final, beating Mungert St. Paul's the last day, what do you make of the game?
You see, and a summer that has been ideal for hurling, and we got a day from hell weather-wise last week here, and when you have that situation, you have two teams, Mungert and Bruff, who like top of the ground hurling, and certainly last week was not conducive for that. And in the other semi-final you had Garryspillane and Kildimo Pallaskenry, again top of the ground hurling, and the heavy conditions certainly didn't suit Kildimo Pallaskenry. But I suppose this is what has made Garryspillane probably different from the rest of the clubs. This is the 5th year of the competition, Val, and they have never failed to make the knockout stages. And all right, they lost the semi-final of 2014, 2015, 2016. They got to the final last year. They pushed Maru Bohor to the very limit. They pushed them to a replay in midweek before they went down. Garryspillane have the ability to adapt to the prevailing conditions and to whatever is put in front of them. And of course, another strength we have this year, and which a day like today will be very, very suitable for it. They're starting 4 of the minor team that won the Premier Minor Hurling Championship last year in spectacular form, in spectacular style against Mungert St. Paul's. And you know what? All 4 of them are eligible again this year. So that gives you an idea of the youth and how they will revel in these conditions.
Right, I'll just name the team and we'll come back to you in a second, Matt. For Bruff, of course, in goals we have Eric Finn, and then we have Sean Finn in the back line. We have Conor McIntyre joining him and Tim O'Sullivan. Looking at the half back line, we have James O'Riordan. In at number 6, we have Brian Finn, and of course, captain is Bobby O'Brien. In at midfield, we have Graham Whelan, and he's joined by Jason Hayes. We're looking at the half forward line. It is Paul O'Riordan. In at number 11, of course, is Colin Madden, and in at 12 is Chris Brown. We're looking at the full forward line now. In at 13, it's Kyle Dillon. Full forward is Shane Bulfin, and 15 is Tony Burke. Any key players from that team, Matt?
Well, there are a number of key players, as you call them out there, but of course, one real key player that's missing is of course Paul Brown. And the influence of a player of the calibre of Paul Brown, his loss is bound to be felt by any team. But we saw Paul Brown, what he did with Limerick, the influence he had, even though he wasn't able to play. He's bringing that similar type of influence to his teammates, which includes his brother Chris, to this particular team. But looking at the team, look at the Finn brothers in defence. Do we need to say what Sean Finn is capable of doing? Brian Finn is very, very an All-Ireland under-21 winner in 2015. And Bobby O'Brien, former Limerick minor, former Limerick senior player, a natural leader. Bobby O'Brien, huge player for Bruff. Then you move forward, and Chris Brown, Kyle Dillon. You recall Kyle Dillon in last year's Munster under-25 competition. He just scorched the earth in that competition last year, and was a member of the successful All-Ireland under-21 winning team as well. And then you have Shane Bulfin, who on his day is, you can only be best described as free taker extraordinary.
Of course, let's have a look at the Garryspillane team. Captain David Ryan, but in goals today is of course Andy Dooley. In the half back line in at number 2 we have Cathal Shanahan, and Captain David Ryan full back of course, and he's joined number 4 Kieran Burke. In at the back line as well we've Garrod Power, and then we've midfield of course former Limerick hurler James Ryan, and at number 7 he is joined by Mark Quinlan. In at midfield we have Colin Ryan, and he's supported by number 9 Michael Burke. In at number 10 today for Garryspillane is Ryan Tobin. He's joined by Donny Ryan, and of course the other corner is Dylan O'Shea. In at the full forward line we have Callum Sheehan, and in the full forward we have Michael Donnell, and at the right we have Kieran Hickey. We'll just pause now for Aran Navian. We're expecting a great game here today, Matt, but obviously the atmosphere is great. If you were to call it, who are you going with?
It's nearly too close to call, and just not sitting on the fence, but I would have to say probably with Garryspillane's experience, I would reluctantly give them a vote, because I'm just looking at the bench there, and they have potential game changers. I'm looking at Danny Hayes, who has been a regular right for a number of years. I'm looking at Onsey Sheehan, who was one of the who took this competition by storm last year with his goal-scoring exploits. But just looking through the Garryspillane team, I mentioned that the 4 minors that were lining out here today: Mark Quinlan, Ryan Tobin, Dylan O'Shea, and Callum Sheehan. That is offset by huge experience. There are also 4 players here today who featured when Garryspillane won the county final in 2005. You have Davy Ryan, who's captain, James Ryan, you have Donny Ryan, and you have Micheál O'Donnell. Right down an experienced spine to the team.
Okay, we're just underway, of course, in Camalloch. The atmosphere is great. The stand across the way is, of course, full. The throw and the possession, it was obviously a free given to Bruff here. So just taking the free, Shane Bulfin is standing over this.
Looking at the wind, Valerie, I think it's blowing across the field, actually. It's blowing from behind us here in the New Road and the New Road stand, and seems to be going straight across towards the street.
It should be. That looks good. First score of the game coming from Bruff's Shane Bulfin. Of course, with only about 50 seconds on the clock, it is Bruff 1 point, Garryspillane no score.
Yeah, Shane will be delighted. It wasn't the easiest to freeze to start with. It was long range, and he will be delighted to find the target. And he found the target both in terms of accuracy and in terms of distance perfectly.
Of course, we have Kieran Burke. Road Power is just in possession of it. It sends a diagonal ball in. Callum Sheehan's on the attack now. He has passed it, and it's a goal for Callum Sheehan, of course, for Garryspillane, with 1 minute and 28 on the clock. And Callum Sheehan has scored a goal.
What a start for Garryspillane, and what a start for the youngster. This is only his second start in the championship. He has been coming on as a sub, but he has made an impact every time he has come on, and obviously TJ Ryan has kept faith with him, and he has certainly repaid a dividend there.
Of course, Eric Finn getting the game underway here again, and now in possession is of course former Limerick hurler James Ryan. He's sending the ball in high, he's dropping down, there is 2 up for this, and Kieran Hickey just wasn't able to gain possession of it there. Now it has gone out to, of course, James O'Riordan. James O'Riordan fighting for this one, needing help, and it is a sideline ball. Good start for Garryspillane.
James O'Riordan and Paul O'Riordan are brothers, and they're the sons of former Limerick player and former Limerick selector and former All-Ireland winning captain Anthony O'Riordan.
Of course, we've seen this ball being cleared by Sean Finn, now in on top of Shane Bulfin. Shane Bulfin has possession of this one, he has lost it. This ball has been sent back in, of course. Up for this one, straight into Sean's hand again. Sean still is in possession of this, flicking it off, and it is a free.
Yeah, it's only about 3 minutes old already, Mal, but it's a bit early to be saying these things, but you'd have to say that James Ryan, who has been hugely influential since he's moved to centre-back, has started exceptionally well. He's got on 2 balls and has delivered them very well, and he has settled very, very, very early. Now, Shane Bulfin is taking the free from exactly the same spot, but maybe about 5-6 metres further out from goal, but he had something to spare the last time.
Shane Bulfin strikes and it looks good, and of course another score for Shane Bulfin here for Bruff. It is Bruff 2 points, Garryspillane 1 goal.
Yeah, I think Garryspillane or Bruff will be happy with the response. Like, it's always a test of the mentality of a team. If particularly in a final, if they give away a goal early, but it looks to me as if Bruff have responded very positively to it.
Jason Hayes has possession there, sending it in, of course. Shane Bulfin first to get it. Now Tony Burke. Tony Burke has lost possession of it and is in possession of Garrod Power for Garryspillane. Garryspillane's flicking it out. Now in possession, of course, is Colin Ryan from midfield. Colin sending this one in, sending it in high. Who is there to collect it? Of course, it is collected by Conor McIntyre from short puck out, and of course the goalie has this. That was a score opportunity for Ryan Tobin, which he didn't take. Batted down here. Bobby O'Brien trying to get possession of this. They're trying to get it out, but of course Garryspillane are trying to take their chances here, Matt.
Yeah, that was a lucky escape for Bruff. The goalkeeper, he just didn't get his clearance in quick enough, and Kieran Hickey was in a flash and blocked it down. There was a moment of danger, real danger there for Bruff, that they could have conceded a second goal. Now they have conceded a free, and this is the first chance for Donny Ryan to get on the score sheet. And you can put any commentator's curse you like on Donny, but he'll still put them all in the same place.
It looks well, but it's gone to the right and it's gone wide. Yeah, first wide of the game, Matt.
I've mentioned it already, but we're only 6 or 7 minutes into the game. When he got possession, and I suppose if he gave a quick look up, there was very, very little on other than to have a pot.
Game back underway from Alan Dooley, sending this one, striking it down, dropping it in on top, of course, Callum Sheehan. Callum Sheehan is on the attack. Callum Sheehan is still going, still on the run. He still has possession of the ball, and it has been given a free.
Yeah, it's early days, but that was a superb catch by the young lad. This guy is, as I said already, he's minor. He's playing colleges this year. That was a superb catch to go with his goal. He's already causing Bruff considerable trouble, and he was bearing down on goal there when he was fouled. And again, Donny Ryan straight in front of the goal practically. It's a point.
Of course, Alan Dooley with accurate puck out as well, giving it to Callum Sheehan, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. But still in all, the young lad, he had an awful lot of work to do. He's only a kid among men, but he won a very good ball.
Okay, as you said, Donny Ryan popping another free over there for Garryspillane. It is 3 points to 1-2 now, with just 8 minutes on the clock. Game underway from Eric Finn. Eric dropping this in. Good catch by, of course, Garrod Power. Garrod Power sending this one in. Another great catch by Callum Sheehan, Matt.
Yeah, that's another fine catch by Callum Sheehan. He has won his free, but it goes back to what I was saying, how loose the Garryspillane half-back line were. We were talking about James Ryan having acres of space. It was Garrod Power on that occasion. And their acres of space, they're getting loose ball, they're looking up, and there's always somebody available. Now, that was an excellent ball that was given to Callum Sheehan, as distinct from the first one. It was an ideal corner forwards ball, albeit he was well out. He was, 65 metres out, which Donny Ryan now is taking the resultant free. And we have the same result as we had with the previous two.
That's the third free for Donny Ryan of the day. Of course, it is Garryspillane 1-3 and Bruff 2 points. And there is 9 minutes on the clock. Welcome, of course, to SportingLimerick.com commentary here today. We have a sub on at the moment. Number 19, Kevin Bonner, is coming on in replace of Tim O'Sullivan, it looks like. Yeah, 19 for Kevin Bonner for Tim O'Sullivan. Early change.
An early change, and we were just flagging it that something had to be done with
right of the goals.
That's 4 points now. It's early days. You're talking just over 10 minutes gone, but you know, the early spark they had in the first.
That's a great sideline by Jason Hayes.
It seems to have deserted them a bit now.
Jason sending that one in, and of course not getting possession of that one there. Straight into the hands of Sean Finn here. He has loads of time clearing that safe. Well, not so safely, of course. It was batted down the far side by Ryan Tobin. There's a bit of a hustle and bustle over here, and there's with free.
But I was saying, coming into the semi-finals here last weekend, Val, nobody had conceded less than the Garryspillane defence. They had conceded considerably less than all the other 7 clubs in the competition. And the way they've started here now, their defence is on top. And again, it was James Ryan that won back and won that dirty ball and gave it to Davy Ryan to clear it. And it was cleared with purpose and intent.
Sean taking that free and passing it to Colin Madden. Colin Madden not getting that score, unfortunately. Not taking their chances either, Matt.
No, well, that's 2 wides. That's the second wide, and they're not good wides. But last week, in the first half, you will recall, against Mungret, they had a strategy for getting Kyle Dillon with his speed and pace on the ball. Kyle Dillon hasn't seen any of the ball so far, and we're 12 minutes into the game.
Long puck out there from Andy Dooley into the middle of the field. Fighting for it, of course, was Colin Ryan. Now on the ball is Donny, and it's gone out.
Yeah, no doubt at all. That's a Bruff ball.
Waiting to take this, of course, is Jason Hayes. Another lovely sideline cut by Jason Hayes. We've been awarded a free.
Yeah, I don't think there's much doubt. John O'Halloran is up at playing his first major final. It's certainly going very well for him so far. Now, you would fancy Shane Bulfin to put this one over. Now, there's a small bit of pressure on it. It's in front of the goal. It's not as far out as the previous ones. But he's either on a bit of a bad run, and he needs to rest them out of a rut and out of a bit of a scoring drought, because they haven't scored since the 4th minute. And if he puts it over, all their 3 points will have come from Shane Bulfin from frees. They'll still have to score from play, no doubt at all about that one.
Of course he does. As you mentioned, it is a 3rd point for Shane Bulfin here from frees today, and you mentioning that all 3 scores coming from frees. It is 13 minutes on the clock. It is Bruff 3 points, Garryspillane 1-3. Resuming the game again is Alan Dooley, sending it in down on top of Kieran Hickey, but unlucky there. There's a bit of a hustle and bustle off the other side. Waiting. Taking a shot. It is going over, of course.
That is an excellent score by Micheál Burke, and we spoke about the the young players that are in this Garryspillane team. Micheál Burke is not that far ahead of him. He's a young player that has been coming through and has been tried in a number of positions, but he seems to have found his position at midfield.
Michael O'Donnell finding that one, sending it into James Ryan. Of course, James Ryan dropping this in, and it's gone wide.
And Garryspillane, I think the umpire just for a minute he hesitated because he was just double checking, but I think the umpire at this side was absolutely satisfied that it was a point. But good umpiring, check, make sure, and we can have no arguments after. Referee is actually going in now to consult with his umpires.
Referee's in consulting with his umpires to whether to give the point or not. Maybe the referee's unsure that it was, Matt.
Yeah, but the umpire at this side appeared to be absolutely certain that it was a point right from the start. But
yeah, he's going to waive it, of course. They've been awarded the point. So Tony Burke has got that one here. It is 60 minutes on the clock. It is Bruff 4 points, Garryspillane 1-4. So there was only 3 points in it, Matt. Only a goal now.
That's it. Callum Sheehan's goal is what's between them. Like it's in the melting pot, and it's not beyond Bruff now to get a run. And we're still in for a very interesting game, I would say.
Sean Finn sent that one in there, but of course it was cleared out safely. But of course sending it back in is Tony Burke. Is it after dropping short? It is. Alan Dooley has all the time in the world to get this one out to James Ryan. Andy Dooley. My apologies, it is Andy Dooley. Of course Sean Finn has this one. He's hand passed it off to Chris Brown. Chris Brown lost possession for a couple of seconds, but he still has it, and now he's cleared it down. Loads of time Shane Bulfin had, but both of them did he trip him there, Matt?
No, I think it was a genuine tangle, but look who picked it up again in splendid isolation, James Ryan.
Of course, James on flying form here today. Who has it now is Kieran Hickey. Kieran Hickey, and sending it in to Donny Ryan. Donny Ryan sending that one over in all day.
Yeah, I'll send him over all day. He doesn't miss many from frees, and certainly in that type of situation he doesn't miss either. Great work by Kieran Hickey, and Kieran Hickey is the man that was a member of John Kiley's backroom team with Limerick during the summer, and has been a great servant to Garryspillane hurlers and Galway footballers.
That was 4 points for Donny Ryan, 3 from frees and 1 from play. Resume play is underway here. In front of us, of course, Colin Ryan has possession of it for Garryspillane, sending in diagonal ball in on top of Kieran Hickey. Can Kieran Hickey get it? No, Jason Hayes of Bruff has it. There's a bit of a hustle and bustle over the other side. Sean Finn seems to have it, be in possession of it. Is the ball left outside? The sideline ball. Who's the linesman going to give it to?
No, the referee is actually giving a free there. He has seen something, and there's a Bruff player down injured now at the moment. I don't think it's anything very serious. He's getting a bit of attention. Now this one will test Donny Ryan. It's out on the right. It's very, very near the sideline. Were he to put it over, it would put Garryspillane 5 points clear, which is a healthy situation at this stage in the game, because we're just about 20 minutes into the game. Bruff player is okay. It looked as if there was something wrong with Brian Finn, and Brian seems to be okay. And now Donny Ryan is stepping up to what is a difficult free.
Donny striking this in, and it's gone to the left and wide. As you mentioned, it was a difficult enough free, Matt.
It was a difficult free, and certainly he never really got hold of it. I'm not so sure. I'm not even so sure that he went for the target. Did he try to pick out the big man in the corner? I'm not so sure, but it was well off.
Eric resumes the game here. There's a nice hand flick there, giving it to Michael O'Donnell. Michael O'Donnell sending it in. Who's going to get to it first? It looks like, of course,
coming into it, we said, like, small margins are going to decide it, and it's putting away chances like that. That's hugely important. A very, very well won ball by Brian Finn.
Yes, we're still in the first half here. Of course, the Premier Intermediate hurling final. The score is Bruff 5 points, Garryspillane 1-5 here with 21 minutes on the clock. Now it is in possession of Paul O'Riordan for Bruff, sending this one in. This was gone to the left and it's gone wide, Matt. So that's Bruff's third wide of today's game.
Yeah, Paul will be disappointed with that. It was a difficult angle, but he appeared when he struck it that he had made the most of it. I flagged it earlier on, and I'll do it again. We have seen little or nothing of Kyle Dillon so far, whose speed and pace would trouble anybody. The ball just doesn't seem to be going up in his direction.
There's a battle on here in front of us. Paul O'Riordan, of course, in possession of it, laying it off to Colin Madden. Colin Madden on the attack, on the run to this ball. He gets to it first, and behind him is Garrod Power. Colin sending this one in. Is it accurate? It's gone to the left and wide.
They're a bit on the front foot now. That was a puck out at the half-back line. Brian Finn won it comfortably and they picked it up. And there are two chances. Now, they weren't the greatest of chances by any manner or means, but there were chances on the day they have to go over for you know, in a county final.
Another chance there for Garryspillane, unfortunately not taken. Colin Ryan sending that in one, and it's going to the left and it was wide. That's also their fourth wide of today's game.
Yeah. The wides are racking up, but it's tight, it's tense. There's a very, very big crowd, a very healthy crowd here today. There's huge crowd.
Picked up the slack, and Colin sending
that he chased it and made the space, made the opportunity for himself, and put his team back 4 in front.
Yes, of course, the score here is Garryspillane is 1-6, Bruff 5 points. It is in possession of Bruff at the moment, number 8, Graham Whelan sending this one in to Kyle Dillon. Can Kyle get to it before it goes out? Kyle has possession of it, sending in diagonal ball, unfortunately not getting possession of it. Sending that one out is James Ryan again, Matt, clearing another ball.
Yeah, it's the Ryans there on the spine of this defence, Davy and James, like that. Paul O'Riordan
sending that one in and wide. That is the 5th wide for Bruff here today. Paul O'Riordan sending that one in.
Yeah, Paul will be disappointed with that one as well. That was probably a more clear-cut opportunity than the first one he missed. But these boys, the Bruff lads, they're shooting under pressure. Like the Garryspillane backs are working like beavers, and they've got a system going where the player is becoming available for the offload and the shot pass out. See James Ryan again, in absolute acres of space.
Sean Finn sent that ball in low, of course, Shane Bulfin, but James Ryan was there to be picking up the slack as usual. Passing it to Michael Burke. Michael sending this one over. Of course, Sean Finn there on his own all the time in the day to be clearing this one, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely, and he picks out Chris Brown this time, and a huge shot from Chris Brown.
Score, and it's gone in and it's gone wide.
It's gone wide. Bruff will certainly be worried about their shooting boots at this stage. There's a sub about to come on. It looks to me
like Ryan Glenn.
It's definitely Ryan Glenn now. Ryan Glenn will be coming in the forwards. He's a very, very hard worker of a player. Oh, great ball!
Some catch by Callum Sheehan on the attack, and he strikes.
When Bruff defended it.
Going up for this is Graham Whelan. Graham Whelan not getting possession of this. Michael O'Donnell for Garryspillane, sending it into Michael Burke. Michael Burke on the run for this. Has he a chance to take it? He's looking for someone in a better position than him. And James Ryan is there yet again for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a huge game. If Callum Sheehan is doing it up front, James Ryan is pulling all the strings almost without breaking sweat. We've flagged it right from the start. The amount of space and players of the calibre. This guy has played hurling at the highest level. This guy has captained his county at the highest level. He has played at all levels at county level. People like him, they need to get the minimum amount of space if they're not to hurt you.
Dylan O'Shea taking that sideline, of course. And it's gone out to the other side now, Matt. But just looking at the scoreboard, 27 minutes gone on the clock, and it is Garryspillane 1-7, Bruff 5 points.
Yeah, I think Garryspillane will be extremely happy, not just because they're winning by 5 points. It's double scoring. Like they've restricted Bruff to 2 points from play. Both came from Tony Burke, one of them, which was an excellent effort. Probably you'd hardly on the balance of play. It's hardly a 5 points game, but nevertheless.
Dylan O'Shea sending that one in, and it's gone to the left and it's gone wide. That is their 5th wide of the game. Yeah, and Garryspillane definitely deserve to be in front, but maybe a 5 points lead is flattering him slightly. But I reckon it's still all to play for, but Bruff need to get something before half time. And we've just added 2 minutes on the clock. We have the sideline official showing that it's been 2 minutes added to the first half here in the Premier Intermediate hurling final between Garryspillane and Bruff. It is 5 points to Bruff, Garryspillane 1-7. The defence is on it again. Colin Ryan getting to this ball, sending this one out.
Again, it was the intervention of James Ryan Val. When the ball was there, when there was dirty ball there, he made it impossible for Bruff to win it. Waited for the support to come in. Colin Ryan, as he had dug it out for his point there a couple of minutes ago, dug it out again, and the danger was averted.
Yeah, Sean Finn winning that free over at the far side here. As you can see behind Sean, there is a great crowd here in Camalloch today for this final.
In close proximity. Both clubs just down the road and over the road. Val, that is a very, very, very bad wide. A very, very bad wide. It would have been a boost. We're into the 2 minutes that Patsy Coffey, the fourth official, put up there a while ago. It would be something for Bruff to hang on to going into the dressing room, where they will be doing an awful lot of talking, I expect. Kieran Hickey is in a position of danger here.
And he also sending that in and sending it to the right of the goals, and it is wide.
Yeah, it's wide. Kieran will be disappointed with this one. We have a shot puck out. They're going short this time. It looks like this James O'Riordan is on the ball.
It was James O'Riordan sending this one out over the sideline, Matt.
Balloons it out over the sideline. Now, all right, he was under a certain amount of pressure, but things are just going wrong for Bruff at the moment, and Garryspillane are just steadying the ship, slowing it down, and we have Colin Ryan here straight in front of us now, taking a line ball, and he will.
Colin sending that in, of course, and Kevin Bonner's on this one. It was a sub that was made earlier on the start of the game, sending it in down top of Shane Bulfin, and it has gone to the left and wide.
It's gone
and out of the sideline.
It's gone out over the sideline. Like you contrast the use of the ball, Bruff's use of the ball, with that of Garryspillane. Like Garryspillane's use of the ball, for the most part, has been pinpoint. Not so Bruff. Now we've after seeing the ball being belted out over the sideline twice. And
twice in 40 seconds.
And it's that type of thing that they need to correct. And that's what Danny Maloney and John Hadnett and John Anthony Morton, when they take him in at half-time, and Pat Mulcahy, they will have to focus on that.
Immense pressure was under Shane Bulfin there. There was 3 defenders down top of him. Garryspillane's defence have just been on form today, Matt.
Yeah, well, Garryspillane defence is only just doing what it has done all year, as I flagged for you. Coming into the semi-final, they had, by a distance, they had conceded less than all the other than any of the other 7, and look, they're just carrying on in that trend. But you can see the solidity of the spine, and it's working off it. Davy Ryan is rock solid at fullback. James Ryan is immense, is the only way you can describe him at centre back. And like, you'd ask the question in the first 30 odd minutes. He's been loose all day, but I suppose that's the characteristic of a good player, making the space for himself, good anticipation, and here Garryspillane win a free out again.
I think it's Colin Ryan gone down to take that one.
No, it looks like him. Actually, it is his uncle. Of course, we should say Colin is the son of TJ, and he's the nephew of Colin, nephew of Davy and Donny.
Yes, it's a full-time whistle here, of course, at the LIT County Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship final. It is Garryspillane.
I suppose in many ways, in the last 10 minutes, we saw kind of a microcosm of what the difference between the sides were. You were seeing the way that Garryspillane were clearing the ball out of defence down here on our right with purpose and picking out their men in a better position, and of course a lot of it is they're picking out the men because the men were making themselves available. That's part of it as well. Now contrast that with Bruff, whose clearances have been anything but certain, anything but purposeful, and could qualify for, I suppose, a certain amount of the Hail Mary category. God direct them where they're going, and classical examples of it were there in the last, as you said during comment.